On this week's Art Rocks, a Lake Charles artist finds tremendous beauty in the woods around his childhood home.
These paintings are more from memory than any kind of photographic likeness, because I sort of invent the painting. You'll start out one thing, but it winds up to be something else.
We see wearable art inspired by nature's grand designs.
So that's my goal. I want to bring beauty to the world, and I want them to feel fabulous and unique.
And the spectacular collection of Southern art on display at the Ogden Museum of New Orleans. That's all next on Art Rocks.
Art Rocks is made possible by the Foundation for Excellence in Louisiana Public Broadcasting and by viewers like you.
Hello, I'm James Fox Smith, publisher of Country Roads magazine, and welcome to Art Rocks. Lots of us enjoy a walk in the woods, but I'll wager most of us aren't seeing them quite the way Bill Iles does. The Lake Charles artist and former professor talks with us both about his stunning landscapes and the intricate, almost pointillist approach he takes to making them.
Follow your bliss, and that's good advice for all of us. And I find a sense of bliss in when I'm centered here in the studio, listening to my Pandora music in the background, and painting, and everything seems to be flowing good. I feel really fortunate. In the past 20 years, I've just concentrated on landscapes primarily, and I find a great solace in nature. We often stereotype trees, and we think of trees when we were children drawing as just a brown shape, but the bark and the texture of a tree is tremendously a myriad of colors of lichen that grows just almost as a decoration around the trunk of the tree. I'm fascinated by that. Also, another way that I think my work departs from the usual landscape painter, most of my work involves being right in the middle of all of this chaos of trees and limbs, and it's not a faraway view. Most landscape painters paint a more scenic thing with a lot of blue sky. Nature is really chaotic once you go out in it. It surrounds you everywhere. I'm more primarily interested in the limb than the leaf, and the tree than the limb. I'm fascinated with the aspects of showing the tactile quality of the tree trunk and the roots of a tree, giving the tree a sense of structure into the ground. All of those things fascinate me. That's one reason I paint a lot of autumn scenes and winter scenes. It's the bones of nature as opposed to the fluffy summer foliage, which is so much green it's almost difficult to paint because it's just so many variations of green. You want to figure out some way to show that the tree has a rounded shape, and you can do that with the decorative lines that go around it, like lichen. You can do it with having light on one side and dark on the other side to give it a three-dimensional nature. And there's no particular formula for it. I use a lot of neutral colors though when I'm painting the tree barks. I don't use the really bright colors. They're neutral. And I love the beech trees. This particular painting is of the creek at Dry Creek that the community is named after. It's a little small creek that we used to go fishing in. And so it has a lot of positive memories of me, of all my family down on the creek bank fishing and this sort of thing. So as I paint, I'm having all of those memory images in my mind, and the beech trees and the colorations of the beech trees, but they're basically neutral tones. And so the task in a large painting like this is, how do you make the neutral tones sustain themselves? And so I use some slight bluish tones in some of the thinner trees. I use more lichen in that big rounded tree that's to the left of the canvas. These paintings are more from memory than any kind of photographic likeness, because I sort of invent the painting once I start it. I don't ever start out with a precise image. It'll start out one thing, but it winds up to be something else. As I paint and I change my mind and I make alterations. Well, it's like life. You just kind of play it by ear. Every painting, I always feel like this is my first painting. How do I even start it? Because you're staring at all that blank canvas. But I usually start out with defining where the tree trunks are going to be and where the various trees are going to recede and what's going to come toward me. And then I'm thinking in terms of verticals, and then to get some horizontal shapes in, I usually refer to like limbs and things on the ground and images like that. The water is like a reflective mirror that can pick up the sky, and I include it in a lot of my paintings because it's a way of getting some light tones in the bottom of the painting. Often when you're doing a landscape, the bottom becomes heavy because you keep going darker and darker, and it's like putting a mirror in a dark area, and you're going to see the reflection of the light. So in terms of seeing where the reflections are of the trees on the other bank, that's just sort of a feeling your own way, because it's never a mechanical thing. Reflections do not follow any kind of natural order. Each one of my paintings take about a month to do. It's not like a spontaneous painting. It's something that I struggle with. You know, you just got to keep working at it. The nice thing about oil paint and acrylic paint is it's opaque. So if you make a mistake, no problem. You just can paint another value on top of it. So there's a lot of buildup in my paintings from mistakes that I make in the painting, and that becomes part of the character of the painting. This thing of painting nature goes back to my high school days. I was going through this period of wanting to walk in the woods and try to paint everything. I used those cheap little temper paint containers and those little 49-cent brushes that the hair would just not do anything, but it was an attempt to put down what I was going through. My daddy was just a small farmer. It wasn't a big farm. It was a small, just putting vegetables on the table sort of farm, but he drove a school bus. We delivered newspapers, we delivered sale papers. He was a jack of all trades, but he would draw pictures with a crayon on cardboard boxes. And I just thought that was marvelous. When we'd go see some Saturday Western movie and he'd come back and he'd draw the cowboys and the horses, and it just made me want to try to do it something as good as he did. I was in college. The night before he died, he said, "Hand me that medicine pad." He says, "I can still draw a horse head better than Billy can." And he made that sketch. And I treasure that sketch because that was, you know, his last thoughts were involving art and my development.
No matter where you live in Louisiana, opportunities to connect with the arts are everywhere. The trick is knowing where to look. So here's a list of some goings-on coming up around our state. To learn more about these and other events in Louisiana, keep your eyes peeled for a copy of Country Roads magazine. And while we're at it, LPB's Art Rocks website features an archive of previous episodes, so to see any episode again, just log on to lpb.org. Artistry, form and function all collide in the creations of fiber artist Inna Schoeler, whose fashion journey began during her childhood in the Soviet Union. Here's her story.
I'm a fiber artist and I create wearable art. I use freestyle knitting and I use different fiber techniques as stitching, hand sewing, crocheting. It's mostly freestyle, so you never know what you're gonna get in the end. That's the beauty of that. I actually grew up in the south of Ukraine, the place called Sevastopol, so it's in Crimea. When I was growing up, it was Soviet Union. The government pretty much wanted us to be the same. So we have those very awful uniforms. So it was brown, it was awful. I never want to be the same like everyone else. I want to always stand out of the crowd. So since I was a child, I started to sketch the ideas for my clothes, and I had a seamstress lady. She was sewing things for me. It was amazing. And you know what? All my friends was always, where did you find it? Because you couldn't find anything in the stores. It was empty. I was a librarian, I was in the Navy, and I work in the bank. So, and that was always a hobby of mine. So here I was able to not create a hobby, I was able to make living out of that. So I believe that America just made me who I am, and I'm very happy in this country. I really hope I'll be strong enough and healthy enough to do this till the day I die, hopefully. That's my passion. That's what I love to do.
Heading now to the Motor City, Detroit, Michigan, where a fabric artist has some inspiration to share. Each Carol Harris quilt presents its viewers with an intricate synthesis of identity, life, personal journey, and shared experience. Let's have a look at the world within these stitches.
I love beautiful fabrics. I, love the feel of them, the smell of them even. All my quilts, I feel, are my children, and I have no favorites. Each one, when I'm doing it at that time, is my favorite. I grew up in Detroit. I've been here all my life. First fiber work I can remember was embroidery. My mother taught me embroidery, and I can remember going to the 5 and 10 cent store to buy those embroidery floss, but it looked like a color wheel to me. That's my memory of it, all these colors just lined up one next to another. So I think that's kind of where it all started. And right now I'm working with hand stitching and embroidery a lot, so I'm going back to the very first kind of stitchery that I ever learned. You get 3 layers. That's what makes a quilt: a bottom, a middle batting, and a top. And you stitch those 3 together, you've got a quilt. Now, what you do with it after that is where the real creativity comes in.
I like to work with color. I like a lot of color. But every now and again, I will challenge myself to do something with no color, black and white.
I get a lot of joy out of the making, how I put these pieces together.
Now, it's all very random, but they should work nicely together. I don't want to place one that's got, because I'm trying to create energy and rhythms, I don't want to create one that's very much like it right next to it. So this doesn't have the same kind of dynamics or dynamism as, say, this one does. High contrast, very high contrast.
I love music, and I like the rhythms of music. I try to recreate high energy and the flow of music sometimes in my work. So I often am inspired by everything around me. The inspiration or the final product often does not necessarily reflect literally the inspiration, but it's just a starting point. And for me with fabric, it's always the fabric that is the beginning. And I'm never really at a loss for ideas because I have all this fabric around me, and I can just go to it, pick one up, or it will call me, and I will pick that one up, and it will be the beginning of something, and that's how work starts.
So maybe we wanted to go together in a sort of a chevron pattern.
The series that I'm working on right now is a great departure for the kinds of quilts that I made for maybe the last 30, 40 years. They've been sort of inspired again by looking at these houses and architecture. And I don't want to say ruin porn, but you see the marks that time has made on the landscape, whether it's natural landscape or man-made. And those marks are very beautiful, and they tell stories about the lives of those buildings and the people that have used those buildings. And I liked what the layers revealed. So I am now making holes and things so that you can see the layers. So the layers reveal something else. And then layering pieces one on top of the other in a way that you can see more than one fabric, each fabric being a part of a story. It's kind of like an onion, you know, you peel away, you keep peeling, each layer is a little bit different than the one preceding it. I think of them as artifacts, and it tells a story of time and identity sometimes. I think that art is a collaboration between the maker and the viewer. And I make it, I may be thinking one thing and I see, but my experience is totally different from yours. And so what you bring to it is going to help you in interpreting this work and responding to it. Maybe it's telling your story. You know, maybe there's a layer that's a little bit fancier than what you see on top. I think the thing that I'm mostly saying is don't always be so concerned with what's on the surface, because that's not the whole story. That if you look beneath the surface, whether it's people, buildings, whatever, there's a lot more that's being revealed than what you see at first.
Back to the Bayou State now for our Louisiana Treasures segment. This week, the spotlight is on the Ogden Museum of Southern Art in New Orleans. Communications manager Miriam Taylor reflects on the museum's efforts to preserve the art, history and culture, not only of Louisiana, but of the entire South.
The Ogden Museum of Southern Art holds the largest and most comprehensive public collection of Southern art in the entire world. We're located in the vibrant warehouse district of New Orleans, and it started in 2003 with the donation of over 600 works by a New Orleans businessman, Roger Ogden. Since that time, our collection has grown to be over 5,000 works. We have photographs, paintings, watercolors, drawings, sculpture, wood, and craft work, and we also have a large collection of Louisiana artists. We have Clementine Hunter, George Rodrigue, Benny Andrews, and Ida Kohlmeyer, just to name a few. The opportunity for an artist to showcase their work at the Ogden Museum of Southern Art is twofold. One, it gets their name out to all different collectors who come through the museum and then visitors to the museum, and it just makes them known, which is really great. And the other thing is it recognizes them as a contributor to this unique culture that we have in the South and have in Louisiana, that we were showcasing their art. They're contributing to a larger story of the arts and culture of the American South. It is extremely important from visitors from throughout the state to come by the Ogden Museum and see the art that's here. You have artists from Louisiana, I mean, really well-known names, and then artists from throughout the region. It's really incredible to see it all showcased in one building because you get to see different people's interpretation of what it is to be a Southern artist. Part of the Ogden Museum's mission is education, and we always have multiple things going on throughout the year, which is programming for the community, for students, for just the public. We have a weekly Southern music series that goes on every Thursday. We have artist workshops, educational lectures, author talks throughout. So it's really a three-dimensional museum. We have the art, which we're showcasing, but we also try and involve the community all the time in every program that we do.
Photographer Dan Fong spent half a century capturing the spirit of rock and roll on camera. Up next, some intimate glimpses of history's greatest musicians as he saw them through his lens.
Dan Fong's ticket into the world of rock and roll wasn't bought.
These are the kind of setups I did in dressing room.
Fong's ticket inside that world was his food.
I was kind of like a concierge in the dressing room. Did the food, booze, whatever they needed. You become friends. They become comfortable with you. So if you're out there shooting photos, they're not like, who's that guy? Get him out of here. And so here I am in the dressing room. I'm taking pictures.
pictures of some of the world's legends of rock and roll.
Here's Stevie Wonder opened for him. Real young age, you know. And then here's Jagger playing guitar, tuning up during the concert.
The Doobie Brothers, The Who, The Rolling Stones. Fong estimated he's taken tens of thousands of photos since the 1960s, but he's only seen a fraction of them.
Well, I hated the darkroom. You had to be a master at doing prints. I didn't have the enthusiasm to do that, so I would shoot, process the film, stick them in a folder. Shoot, process. It was fast-moving time. These photographs are rare, you know, because they really did, even then, they wouldn't let people in the dressing room and stuff. But what I've done is I haven't cropped anything out. I think that everything in the shot is historically valid, you know, down to the guitar in the corner, to like the type of booze they were drinking, yeah, you know, and the way the dressing room set up. When I shot The Who, I wasn't even aware of some of the photographs I had because I didn't have enough negative sleeves. So I stacked a whole bunch of negatives and I stuffed them in 1 or 2 negative sleeves.
Not long ago, Fong sorted through the sleeves and was surprised to find hundreds of frames.
And it just blew my mind. I spent the next 2 weeks scanning the stuff.
Eventually, he printed them. Now, the never-before-seen photos are part of the exhibit The Who 50th Anniversary at the Robert Anderson Gallery.
Well, I think people don't realize how hard it was to take photographs back then. They weren't autofocus cameras. They weren't automatic exposure cameras. It was very hard. You know, I shot transparency, and if you're off a third of a stop, your shot is blown. This is taking it to the streets, you know, platinum and gold.
Fong also worked as media coordinator for the Doobie Brothers. He designed several album covers, including Taking It to the Streets. That cover turned out differently than he proposed.
Do not use, you know, this is the original color. It was supposed to be black. And I showed him the proofs before they left on the plane. They got back from Japan. He looked at it in black and got real pissed off and wanted me fired and changed the album cover to white. But they didn't fire me. I never thought that I was that great of a photographer when I was doing it. And it's really funny looking at the stuff now because I look at it and go, geez, man, I didn't do bad.
Fong's not the only one pleasantly surprised by his work.
My God, you have the only pictures of us opening for Cat Stevens.
In addition to photographing internationally known rockers, Fong also fixed his lens on Colorado legends of rock. Among them, R&B singer-songwriter Chris Daniels, Harry Tufts, considered the Rocky Mountain region's godfather of folk music, and funk singer Freddie Gowdy.
So something that I read that former Doobie Brothers drummer John Hartman said is that you capture, quote, the depth of the subject's personality. Do you think that's true?
I do a lot to ease the subjects, whatever tensions they have.
Though there are times Fong likes to agitate instead of ease.
Today, I went out and bought some sour candy. I'm going to say, take this, eat this candy. 1, 2, 3. Suck on them good now.
Digital cameras have eliminated some of the challenges Fong faced earlier in his career, but he said his approach to photography hasn't changed.
I feel like I'm taking a picture of somebody's soul when I do this. That's always something in the back of my mind.
Fong keeps something else in mind, the food that first endeared him to rock stars 50 years ago. That's why he still puts out a heck of a spread.
It's just like any craft. The longer you do it, the better you get.
And that is that for this edition of Art Rocks. But don't despair, you can always watch episodes of the show at lpb.org/artrocks. And if you want more, Country Roads magazine is a great resource for making the most of Louisiana's vibrant arts and culture, close to home and all around the state. So until next week, I'm James Fox Smith, and thanks for watching.